Chancellor Drunkale's voice sliced through the throne room's hum. Behold the shame consort for our barren princess. A lowly human dragged from the outer trades to bind her disgrace eternally. Ethan Cole stumbled forward under the Chancellor's shove. Bioluminescent lights glared from the vaulted ceiling, casting the assembled nobles' scaled faces in sharp relief. Hundreds of eyes, slitted, glowing, fixed on him. Whispers erupted like dry leaves in wind. He straightened his jumpsuit, the fabric stiff from hasty decontamination. No time for awe. These aliens had yanked him from his repair shuttle 2 hours ago. Systems engineer, they'd barked. Now this. Princess Saeli Vera stood rigid on the dais, her lithe form draped in silvered silks that shimmered like liquid metal. 4 arms crossed over her chest. 2 folded tight, 2 clenched at her sides. Her crest of iridescent feathers flattened against her skull. She met Ethan's gaze for a split second, emerald eyes sharp, unyielding. Kale swept a claw toward her. Saeli's line ends here. No heirs from her flawed womb. By ancient right she binds to this primitive off-worlder. Her claim dissolves in shame. Nobles murmured approval. One sneered. Humans breed like vermin. But with her, wasted seed. Ethan's jaw tightened. Primitive? He'd fixed their failing orbital arrays last cycle.
But he stayed silent.
A holographic pact scrolled into view between them. Glowing script in Thalassian, with a human standard translation flickering below. Saeli's primary hands extended. Her voice cut clear, laced with steel. I sign. Let the binding stand, but my claim endures until the right proves me barren beyond doubt. Her stylus danced across the hollow. Light sealed the contract with a chime. Kale's frills flared in triumph. Ethan blinked. She just bought time. Smart. The princess stepped closer. Heat radiated from her scales, carrying a faint scent of ozone and spice. Up close, her feathers quivered faintly. Not fear, resolve. Human, she said softly, accent clipping the edges. Ethan Cole. You understand this farce? He nodded once. Binding means I'm yours. Legally. No escape without disgrace to both. Her secondary hands flexed. Precisely. Kale moves too fast for my allies to rally. This stalls him. Court eyes bored into them. Ethan felt the weight. Prejudice hung thick. Humans as disposable breeders, inferiors unfit for nobility. Kale leaned in, breath hot and metallic. The right seals it in 3 cycles, publicly. Her infertility displayed for all. Ethan raised a hand. Simple question. Engineer's habit. One issue, Chancellor. Silence crashed down. Nobles leaned forward. Kale's eyes narrowed.
Speak, mammal. The infertility charge.
What's the medical basis? Show me the test data. Full chain of custody, from sample to result. Gasps rippled. A noble choked. He demands proof? Saeli's feathers twitched upright. Surprise flashed in her eyes. Kale recovered with a polished laugh. Insolent. Matron physician Irishun certified it. Her lab's word is law.
Certified how? Ethan pressed. Voice level.
Protocol? Replicates? Controls? I need the logs. The Chancellor waved dismissively. Irrelevant to a consort. Not to me. Binding pact invokes mutual legitimacy. If the claim's fraud, it voids. Thalassian Code, Section 47B. Whispers exploded. Saeli's primary hand brushed his arm, light, electric. He knows our law? Kale's frills flattened. Captain Rovan, escort this human to quarters. The right proceeds.
Guards flanked Ethan.
Captain Ravin Kess gripped his elbow, firm but not cruel. The captain's uniform gleamed, his crest scarred from old battles. Doubt flickered in his slitted eyes. As they marched from the dais, Saeli fell in step beside them. Her presence parted the crowd like a blade. Nobles hissed slurs, Baron consort whore. She ignored them. In the corridor's cool stone echo, Rovan muttered. Few questioned Shun's lab. Data lies if unchallenged. Seen it on a dozen worlds. Saeli's voice dropped. You read our code? How? Trade requirement. Your empire spans human space. Prep work. Her feathers smoothed. Gratitude? Respect? Hard to parse alien cues. But her posture eased a fraction. Rovan halted at carved doors. Consort quarters. Princess. The binding chamber adjoins. She nodded curtly. Guard the hall, Captain. No interruptions. Inside the chamber split, her side lush with woven fronds and glow orbs, his a Spartan alcove with a pallet and console. Door irised shut.
Saeli faced him, 4 arms unfolded.
Why aid me? Humans shun entanglement here. Dragged into it. Might as well fix the glitch. He tapped the console. Access public archives. She projected a hollow key. Limited. Try. He queried. Infertility protocols. Files bloomed. Standard assays for Thalassian fertility. Hormone cascades. Gamete viability. Shun's lab stamped them all. Chains here? He asked. Redacted for royals. Her crest drooped. Shun controls it. Kale's ally. Public version shows anomalies. Sample logged by anonymous aide. No witness seals. Celie leaned in. Her warmth pressed close. Corruption? Possible. Ever retest independently? Denied. Lab monopoly on royal blood. Her voice hardened. Kale pushed the charge post my brother's death. He eyes the throne. Your brother's crash. But logs flag override codes. Her eyes widened. Accessed how? Open source. Human traders scrape everything.
He pulled schematics. See?
Backup inhibitors tripped. Sabotage.
Rovan burst in, door override chiming. Princess. Kale summons. Ride advanced to tomorrow. Public square. So Ellie's feathers bristled. He accelerates to crush descent. Ethan stood. Delay it. Demand retests now. With witnesses. Rovan hesitated. Shun refuses off protocol.
Then we go to her lab. Ethan grabbed a data slate.
Chain of custody audit. Your code mandates it for disputed royals.
The captain's claws tapped his belt. Evidence mounts.
I accompany you.
Saili gripped Ethan's wrist. Scales smooth, grip fierce. Risks your life, consort. He met her gaze. Problems solve cleaner together. Her secondary hand lingered. A spark. Mutual, electric. Forbidden heat in her eyes. They moved as a unit. Corridors blurred past guards who saluted Rovan. Palace labs hummed below, sterile air thick with chemscent. Shun's domain. Vaulted white. Tubes snaking walls. The matron physician hunched over an analyzer, robes stained.
Intruders! Captain, remove them!
Rovan blocked her. Audit the princess's assay.
Now, Shun's wattles quivered.
Impossible. Ethan slid the slate forward. Show the chain. Sample handler. Aid of Vexcar. Log shows him entering Kale's wing pretest. Shun paled. Coincidence. Pull the raw data.
Ethan tapped the console. It resisted. Locked.
Saili's voice thundered.
Or I invoke treason. Shun complied. Claws shaking. Hollow bloomed. Tampered markers. Hormone suppressants spiked the sample. Vexcar's prints on the vial. Gasps from arriving aides. Rovan drew his blade. Conspiracy.
Alarms wailed. K-guards burst through the lab doors. Plasma lances leveled.
Chancellor Droom Kale strode in behind them, robes swirling, his eyes locked on the hollow display. Spiked suppressants. Vexcar's prints glowing red.
Captain Kess. Kale barked. Arrest these saboteurs.
The human tampers with sacred assays. Rovan's blade stayed drawn. He stepped forward, blocking Kale's guards. Tampering's proven, Chancellor. Your aide's marks on the vial. Saeli straightened, her scales flushing deep indigo. She jabbed a claw at the console. Raw data doesn't lie, drone. Suppressants in my sample. Who ordered Vexcar? Kale's wattles flattened. Lies. The humans' barbaric tricks corrupt our systems. Ethan kept his voice level. He tapped the slate, capturing the hollow frame by frame. Log it all. Timestamps match Vexcar's schedule. He left your wing 30 marks before the test. Shun shrank back, robes clutched tight, eye calibrated blindly. Protocol. Guards hesitated, lances dipping. Rovan growled. Stand down. Princess's claim holds. Kale sneered. Her claim? An infertile wretch bound to a pet? The right binds her to failure. Saili's secondary hand brushed Ethan's arm, steadying, warm. The right binds equals, Chancellor. Ethan's audit clears me. Alarms cut off. Silence rang. Kale's gaze flicked to Ethan, calculating. This mammal audits us? Ethan met his stare. Your code demands it. Disputed royal, chain of custody, witnesses, retest. We're halfway done. Guards shifted. Rovan nodded once. He speaks protocol true. Proceed to retest.
Kale's claws flexed. Matron Shun, purge that data.
Now. Shun froze. Saeli's voice sliced. Touch it and treason seals your fate. Kale whirled on her. You dare? The council revokes your right tonight.
Ethan pulled Sayeli back a step, her grip tightened, trust building in the pressure.
He leaned in, voice low.
We need council rules.
Map it. She nodded, eyes fierce. Rovan waved guards aside. Escort the Chancellor out. Secure the lab. Kale stormed off, flanked by his detail. Doors hissed shut. Shun slumped. Retest. Fresh sample. Witnesses. Sayeli rolled up her sleeve, exposing iridescent scales. The analyzer hummed. Ethan watched the readouts climb, normals across the board. Hormones peaked healthy. Hollow bloomed green. Shun gasped. Dialogue. Untampered. Rovan sheathed his blade. Conspiracy confirmed. Kale's play.
Saleh exhaled, shoulders easing. Her gaze met Ethan's, gratitude sparking deeper.
You saw the timestamps first. Patterns jump out. He pocketed the slate. Next. Council hearing. We audit their procedures too. Rovan grunted approval. Human thinks like a hunter. I'll summon the logs. They exited the labs, Saley's hand lingering on Ethan's elbow. Corridors buzzed with whispers. Servants bowing deeper now. Back in her quarters, Ethan unrolled a palace code scroll on the table. Hollow projections flickered. Right laws, succession clauses. Saley paced, tail flicking. Kale calls council at dawn, she said. They'll claim the right invalidates me anyway. Human consort too low. Ethan traced lines with his finger.
Step 1. Invoke Article 47.
Disputed assay triggers full audit. We present the slate. Her secondary hand touched his shoulder, scales brushing skin, sending a shiver. They'll block it. Noble's vote procedure. Step 2, witnesses. Rovan testifies. Shun too. She's shaken.
He highlighted a clause. Royal Guard Captain's word binds unless countered by 3 peers.
Sayeli leaned close, breath warm on his neck. Kale controls 4. And they'll bait you, call you pet, savage. Step 3, don't bite. Redirect to code. Every slur logs as prejudiced violation. He sketched a flow. Audit, testimony, vote block, emergency right validation. Her eyes widened.
You mapped our labyrinth into steps? A systems engineer. Palaces run on rules like machines.
He grinned. Fix the inputs, outputs follow.
Rovan entered, saluting. Council preps. Kale spreads rumors. You bewitched Shun. Good. Rumors mean panic. We walk in united. Sayeli's grip lingered. Together. Dawnlight filtered through crystal panes. The grand hall thrummed. Nobles in tiered seats. Kale at the podium. Saleh entered on Ethan's arm, head high. Whispers hissed. Pet consort. Infertile fraud. Rovan flanked them. Shoo trailed, robes fresh. Kyle banged his gavel. Princess Sayeli Vera, right bound to a human lesser. Succession forfeit. Vote now. Saleh stepped forward. Chancellor, Article 47. Assay dispute demands audit first. Murmurs rose. Kale smirked. Audit dismissed. Human interference.
Ethan raised the slate.
Log 47B. Timestamps prove tampering. Vexcar, your aide, handled the vial. A noble jeered. Mammal lies. Pets don't speak here. Saleh blocked the bait, voice steel.
Prejudice log. Clerk, proceed to testimony.
Clerk's claws flew over a pad. Kale flushed. Irrelevant. Rovan advanced. Captain's oath. I witnessed the data.
Suppressants added pretest. Shun nodded.
Confirmed. My calibration clean. Kale pounded. 2 against 4. My peers counter. Ethan cut in. Peers? Name them. Article 52 counters require disclosed interests.
Silence.
One coughed. Vexcar served my house too. Chain reaction confessions tumbled. Kale promised seats.
Bribed my kin!
Kale roared.
Treason! Guards!
Rovan's detail pinned him. You're detained, Chancellor. Sayeli turned to the hall. Right validated. Audit complete.
Who challenges?
None spoke. Cheers erupted. Cautious, then full. Ethan felt her hand slip into his primary grip, scales to skin, forbidden warmth blooming open. Noble stared. Shock at the human who dismantled their sacred rot. But Kale twisted in irons, hissing. The human's no pet. He's a predator. Consul secured, but Kale's faction hides deeper. Poison in the vents. Ethan scanned the hall. Vents hummed above. Chem scent faint. Audit those next. Saleh squeezed his hand. My consort sees all. They exited to thunderous approval. Her eyes held his, spark now flame.
You rewrote Worth here. With me.
He nodded, pulse racing. Problem solve cleaner together. Deeper halls echoed with their steps. But a shadow slipped away. Kale's last loyalist data chit clutched tight. Alarms stayed silent. For now, Ethan wrenched open the maintenance hatch with a crowbar scavenged from the corridor cart. Dust motes swirled in the pale glow of his palm light. He dumped the parts onto the grate, flux sensors, air pumps, filter meshes, all pilfered from palace repair bins. Siley crouched beside him, her iridescent scales catching the light. Her tail flicked tension. The lab seals bar non-medical entry. Rovan cleared this alcove, but time runs thin. Watch and learn. Ethan snapped a regulator casing in half. He stripped wires with his teeth, soldered them to the sensor node using a heat tab from his belt. The rig took shape, a compact probe with intake vents and a data chit reader. Airflow carries residues. We sample without cracking the door. Her crest flared slightly. Alien surprise. Your kind improvises like vermin reshaping nests. He grinned. Calibrating the flow meter. Humans debug systems. Labs leak secrets in the exhaust. The rig hummed to life. Green lights pulsed. Ready. Siley rose, smoothing her robes. I file the complaint now. Matron Shun must respond formally. Protocol ties her for cycles. She gripped his shoulder, scales warm against his skin. Return whole. Their eyes locked, forbidden spark. She slipped away down the hall. Ethan hefted the rig and ghosted toward the medical wing. Guards nodded. Rovan's orders lingered from the hall detention. The lab door loomed. Seamless alloy, biolocked. Red runes glowing, authorized only. He flattened against the wall. Vent grill hummed overhead, 3 meters up. Exhaust from inside. Perfect. Ethan wedged his boot into a seam, climbed one-handed. The rig's probe snaked into the grill slots.
He thumbed activate.
Pump whirred softly. Air rushed in, chem-tanged, sterile sharp. Residue particles clung to the filters. Data streamed to the chit, particulates logged, molecular scans buffering. 90 seconds. He held breath, muscles burning. Footsteps echoed. Ethan froze.
Saeli's voice drifted from the adjacent chamber. Matron Shun.
I lodge Article 17 grievance. Your pre-test protocols violated sanctity. Demand full audit logs. Cross-sworn. Shu's rasp countered. Princess, this formality. Scroll it now. Witnesses required. Distraction held. Ethan dropped. Rig clutched tight. Data complete. 2.7 grams residue captured. Safe. He slotted the chit into his multi-tool analyzer. Another human import jury-rigged for alien ports. Screen flickered. Cross-check initiated against Palace Chem database. Approved sterilants only. Matches scrolled. Ethanol analogs. Plasma washes. Then anomaly. Unlogged peak. Fertility cascade inhibitor. Industrial grade. Banned for Royals Post-Accord 49. Ethan's gut tightened.
Suppressants dosed the air pretest. Suppressants dosed the air pretest.
He pocketed the chit. Proof without entry. Hook set. Alarms. Stayed silent. He traced back to rendezvous. Saeli waited in the alcove shadows. Crest low.
Shorn, stone-walled. Claimed calibration error.
Your rig? Jackpot. He synced the data to her secure pad. Graphs spiked. Residues match suppressants. Unlogged. Added via vents before your sample. Her eyes widened. Golden slits dilating. Kale's reach. He controls supply requisitions. She traced a claw along the screen.
This rewrites the right.
Ethan nodded.
Broadcasted clean, but first, shouts erupted from the hall. 2 aides in Kale's livery burst in, stun rods crackling. Human. Contraband device. Seize it. Ethan backed against the bulkhead, rig raised. Saeli stepped forward, tail lashing. Stand down. Royal escort. The lead aide sneered. Fangs bared. Chancellor's writ. Tampering evidence. Detain both. Ethan's mind raced. Alien law looped in memory. Rovan's briefings. Sealed hearing for contamination threats. I invoke now. Aides hesitated. You? Outsider scum? Data proves lab poison. Public health vector. Ethan thrust the chit forward. Partial scan displayed, suppressant curve glaring. Seal it or face cascade breach liability. Comply. Captain Rovan convenes. The aides exchanged glances.
Lead snarled into comm.
Intruder claims 72.
Medical wing. Rovan's voice barked back. Escort to antechamber. No contact. They complied, rods lowered. Ethan walked flanked, Sci-Fi at his side. Her hand brushed his scales to skin, pulse syncing. Antechamber doors hissed open. Nobles milled. Kale's faction. Shuan fidgeting. Rovan at head. Chancellor Kale stood central, polished robes hiding fury. Princess demands farce. Kale's voice dripped venom. Human toy invades sacred lab. No invasion. Airflow residues. He uploaded chit to hall projector. Graphs bloomed holographic. Shun paled. Impossible. Seals intact. Probe non-invasive.
Ethan tapped controls. Vents exhaust-proof.
Suppressants. Neurotype 4B, dosed pretest. Your calibration clean. After contamination. Murmurs rippled. Nobles leaned in. Kale laughed. Fabricated human lies. No chain of custody. Rovan crossed arms. Rig source? Palace maintenance. Logged parts. Ethan recited serials. Scan verifies. Shun cracked. I witnessed no dosing, but vents access my aids. Kale pounded lectern. 2 against 4. My peers counter. Ethan cut in. Peers? Name them. Article 52. Counters require disclosed interests. Nobles shifted. One coughed. Dexcar served my house too. Confessions cascaded. Kale promised seats, bribed my kin. Cole roared. Treason? Guards. Raven's detail surged, pinning him. Iron snapped.
Detained, Chancellor. Sci-Fi faced the hall.
Right validated. Audit complete. Challenges? None spoke. Cheers built, cautious, then thunderous.
Ethan felt her hand slip into his primary grip. Scales to skin, forbidden warmth.
Nobles gaped at the human who unraveled their rot. Kyle twisted, hissing. The human's no pet. He's a predator. Rovan leaned close. Council secured. But Kale's faction hides deeper. Poison in the vents? Ethan scanned overhead. Vents hummed, chem scent faint. Audit those next.
Sci-Fi squeezed. My consort sees all.
They strode out to acclaim. Her eyes burned into his, sparked a flame. You rewrote Worth. With me. Problems solve cleaner together. Deeper halls echoed. A shadow darted. Kyle's loyalist, data chit gripped. Alarms, silent. Ethan halted. Matches our residue profile? Syala's crest spiked. Deeper vents lead to throne access. Rovan signaled guards. Too late. Shadow vanished.
Ethan eyed the ductwork. Rig remix.
We traced the source. Her grip tightened. Romance bloomed amid peril, but poison whispered ahead. He pulled components. Build anew. Human fix for alien rot. Vents hummed louder. Scent thickened. Ethan dashed after the shadow, boots pounding polished stone. Sci-Fi matched his pace, her tail lashing. Rovan barked orders into his comm. Vents thrummed overhead, chem scent sharpening like ozone. Seal bulkhead 3, Rovan shouted. Guards peeled off, slamming panels shut. The shadow darted left, into a service corridor. Ethan spotted the data chit clutched in its scaled fist, glint of illicit blue. That's our residue match. Chit logs the reagent tampering. Sci-Fi's crest flared violet. Loyalist to Kale.
Throne vents link here. Ethan yanked a panel from the wall mid-stride.
Wires sparked. He twisted a junction box, rerouting power. Lights flickered. A grate ahead slammed down, blocking the shadow. It skidded, hissed, then clawed at a vent cover. His hand clamped the ankle. Scales scraped his palm. Cold, unyielding. The loyalist kicked free, dropped the chit. It clattered across the floor. Rovan pounced, pinning the figure. Secure, Ethan scooped the chit.
Interface port matched his multi-tool. He slotted it in.
Hollow display bloomed. Logs of unlogged shipments. Reagent vials. False negatives spiked after delivery. Matron Shun signed off. Sci-Fi snatched the display. Her eyes narrowed. Edie Shun. She swore the scan proved infertility.
Contamination deliberate.
Ethan traced the chain. Vents rerouted toxins here. Matches the scent. Throne room exposure. Targeted hit. Rovan cuffed the loyalist. Talk. Who pulls your chain? The alien spat. Kale's rot runs deep. Shun's lab brews more.
Alarms wailed, distant.
Scent thickened, burning Ethan's throat. Sci-Fi gripped his arm. We confront her. Now, they stormed the medical wing. Doors hissed open. Matron Shun stood at her console, vials arrayed. Her frills drooped at their entry.
Princess.
Shun bowed low. Wright concluded. You depart? Ethan held up the chit. Your logs say otherwise. Unlogged reagents. False scan. Shun's gaze flicked to it. Human error. Chit forged. Cross-reference palace manifests. Ethan jacked his tool into her terminal. Data streamed. Matches lit green. Shipments tied to your auth codes. Vexcar handled delivery. Kyle's man. Rovan drew his sidearm.
Captain's log confirms. Stand down, matron.
Schwoon backed against the counter. Vials rattled. Procedure protected the line. Your infertility fact. Solis stepped forward. Lie. Wright cleared me. Ethan scanned the lab. Air recyclers hummed wrong off pitch. Hazard protocol. Vents here feed thrown excess. Pull the scan now. Shoo sneered. No authority, pet.
Consort authority. Saili's voice cut steel.
Ethan invokes override. Documented.
Ethan patched his tool to the main scanner.
Live retest. Controlled. Your reagents or mine. Sealed from palace stock. Guards blocked exits. Nobles filtered in behind. Whispers rippling. Word spread fast. Shun hesitated. Absurd. Public farce.
Exactly. Ethan primed the machine.
They came for spectacle before. Get another. Saili stripped her outer robe without pause. She mounted the platform. Scales gleamed under lights. Ethan calibrated inputs, hands steady. Her eyes locked his. Trust absolute. Scan hummed.
Energy pulsed. Data flowed clean.
Positive. Hall gasped. Shun paled. Impossible. Tamper. Log sealed. Ethan displayed the hollow. Your contaminant absent. Palace stock pure. Rovan seized her wrists. Confess. Or sell with Kale. Shun slumped. Erase her claim. Vents poisoned the right survivors. Faction rises.
Ethan traced the vent map.
Throne rigged. Detonate now.
He yanked conduits. Sparks flew.
Recyclers whined to halt. Scent dispersed. Nobles murmured. One stepped forward. Elder House Lord. Shun bribed my audit? Proof? Ethan tossed the chit. Full chain. Your house too.
Confessions tumbled again. Kale's promise.
Vials hidden. Rovan signaled. Detain all. Saili descended. Robe reclaimed. She pressed against Ethan's scales to his tunic. Warmth seeped through. You saw the unseen. Systems talk if you listen.
His hand covered hers. Forbidden grip. Now claimed.
Cheers erupted. Nobles bowed. The human who fixed their rot. But Rovan frowned at the vents.
Deeper network. Kale's off-world allies. Ethan eyed the sealed grate.
Faint chemtrail lingered. Chit mentioned shipments. Source off-grid. Saili's tail curled his leg. Subtle claim. Hunt them. Together. They moved out. Her scent, spice over Kemp filled his lungs. Romance ignited in the chase. Deeper levels beckoned. A new shadow flickered in the dark. Larger. Armed. Ethan palmed his multi-tool. Rig for trace. We end this. Vents whispered poison, but her hand in his burned brighter. Human fix. Alien fire. They plunged in. Rovana led the breach team down the sublevel access. Ethan sealed the door behind them. Air grew stale. Kem sent a claw in his nostrils. Saili flanked him, blade drawn. Her breathing synced to his, disciplined rhythm. Map overlays. Ethan projected from his tool. Shipment bay links here. Off-world crates. Rovan nodded. Guards fan out. They hit the bay. Crates stacked high. Kale's insignia faded. One pried open. Vials glowing faint green. Poison stock. Saili smashed one. Glass crunched. Alarms blared local. Shadows swarmed. Loyalists, armored. Ethan dove behind a crate. Blaster fire scorched stone. He recalibrated his tool. Jammer pulse. He triggered it. Weapons whined dead. Rovan charged. Fists. Flew. Saili's blade danced. Precise cuts disarming. Ethan flanked. Tackled a shooter. Applied torque. Joint popped. Last loyalist fell. Rovan cuffed him. Allies? Shun talked. Fleet inbound. Claim the void. Saili's crest spiked rage. Kyl's fleet, blockade enforcers.
Ethan scanned crates. Comms array here.
Hackett, he sliced in. Signals burst. Coordinates to Throne World. Incoming dreadnoughts. Alert Council. Rovan keyed his comm. Saley pulled Ethan close. Lips brushed his ear. Whisper hot. You rewrite fates. His pulse raced. Skin to scales. Team effort.
Explosions rocked above. Hull breach?
Rovan paled. Vents compromised. Poison floods halls. Ethan eyed the bay controls. Reverse flow. Vent to space. He patched in. Turbines roared. Toxin sucked out. Alarms silenced. Nobles' cheers echoed via comm. Consort saves. But display pinged. Dreadnought shadow on scopes. Minutes out. Sci-Fi gripped his hand. My human. Face the stars. Plot the intercept. Ethan grinned. Competence met fire. They raced up. Romance forged in Rot's defeat. Deeper threat loomed. Fleet fire. Human ingenuity versus alien armada. Together they turned. Ethan burst through the throne chamber doors. Nobles gasped. Chancellor Kale whirled from his podium, robes flaring. Sci-Fi strode beside Ethan, her crest rigid, blade sheathed but hand ready. Captain Rovan flanked them, cuffs dangling from his belt, fresh from the bay brawl. Retest her now, Sci-Fi's voice cut the murmurs. Live, before the full court. No more shadows.
Kale's eyes narrowed.
Princess, the fleet circles. Your hysterics. Proof first.
She pointed to the central dais. Matron physician Eerie Shun huddled there, scales ashen. Shun confessed. Her lab faked the infertility scan. Run it true, or admit treason. Human eyes would see the tension. Guards shifted. Nobles whispered into comms. Alien prejudice hung thick. They eyed him like vermin bound to royalty. He gripped Sci-Fi's elbow lightly. Her scales warmed under his touch. Kale smoothed his crest. Very well. Public validation. But the human stays back. Witnesses must be pureblood. Saley stepped forward. Ethan Cole stands as co-witness. He exposed the poison vents. His competence saved this hall. A soft skin? Beside the air? Ethan met stares. No boasts, just facts. I'm a systems engineer. Scanners are my trade. Rovan nodded. He vented the toxin, reversed the flow. Nobles cheer him still. Kale's jaw tightened. Procedure allows it. Proceed, matron. Shun trembled as Tex wheeled out the fertility array. A sleek arch of crystal emitters hummed to life. Saley stripped her outer robes without hesitation. Scales gleamed under the lights, iridescent blue, marked with royal whorls. She stepped under the arch. Ethan positioned beside her, toolpad in hand. Protocol let him observe calibration, collaborate to Vera lineage. Shun muttered. Her claws danced over controls. The arch pulsed green.
Ethan frowned. Readings flickered.
Too clean. No baseline noise. Humans built redundancy for that. Cross-checks against interference. He synced his pad silently. Alien tech mimicked human diagnostics. Signal integrity, spoof detection. Scan initiating, Shun announced. A beam swept Sci-Fi's form. Fertile markers should glow if true. The display lit, barren. Red warnings flared. Gasps rippled. Kale smirked. See? Biology betrays her. Sci-Fi's crest spiked fury, but she held still. Ethan's pad beeped.
Anomaly.
Wait.
He tapped override. Signal spoofed. External transmitter feeding false data. Shun paled. Impossible. Ethan traced the ping. Source in the walls. Jammer pulse incoming. He triggered his pad. The arch whined, then stabilized. True scan bloomed. Viable errors confirmed. Chaos erupted. Noble shouted. Sabotage. Call slammed his podium. Lies. The soft skin tampers. Rovan drew his blaster.
Guards, seal the chamber. Trace that signal.
Ethan pinpointed it. Ventilation subroom, east wing.
Weak encryption, court standard. Rovan barked orders.
Armored loyalists surged out. Ethan stayed put, hand brushing Sci-Fi's arm.
She leaned into him, scales flushing violet, alien flush of relief, or more. Minutes ticked. The chamber hollow flickered. Dreadnought shadow loomed closer. Kale seized the moment. Even if fertile, the bond violates code. Human consort? Preposterous. Dissolve it. Erase her claim. Sci-Fi laughed sharp. You forget the archives, Chancellor. She activated her wrist comm. Ancient text scrolled. Challenge clause of the Third Dynasty. Blood or blade decides succession. I challenge you. Single combat witnessed.
Kale froze.
Outdated, revoked, never ratified. Rovan burst back in, dragging a squirming tech. Transmitter seized. Key to your seal, Kale. He flung the device onto the dais. It clattered, seal glowing. Kale's crest, undeniable. Nobles recoiled. Treason? Ethan watched Kale's polish crack. Sweat beaded on alien scales. Competence exposed rot. Humans fixed systems. Aliens schemed in shadows. Together? Unstoppable. Saili gripped Ethan's hand. Her claws pricked. Trust. Heat. Trest. Witness my victory, consort. Rovan shoved the transmitter at Shuan. Confess. Who funded this? Shuan crumpled. Kale. Blockade fleet was his enforcers to restore order after disgracing her. Holo updated. Interceptors scrambled. Fleet signals jammed. Ethan's bayhack lingered. Kale backed toward a side door. Guards hesitated.
Seize him!
Rovan roared. Ethan stepped forward.
Not yet. He patched his pad to the chamber array.
Broadcast the seal match. Full Empire feed. Nobles nodded. Its feeds linked. Billions watched now. Kale snarled. You dare bind to this, primate? Saili's eyes locked on Ethan. He rewrites worth. Proved my fertility. Saved the palace. You? A fraud.
Ethan felt her gaze. More than politics. Forbidden spark.
Scales to skin. His pulse matched her crest's throb. Rovan hauled Kale center dais. Challenge accepted by silence. Blades.
Saili drew hers.
Kale fumbled his, ceremonial, unbloodied. Ethan tensed. Goal, end the plot. Conflict, Kale's desperation. Outcome? Caleb lunged wild. Saeli parried precise. Her blade nicked his arm. Blood welled. He swung again, roaring prejudice, soft-skin taint. She spun, kicked his knee. Cartilage cracked. Kale dropped. Rovan pinned him. Yield. Never. Kale spat. Saeli pressed her blade to his throat. Yield or die. Succession mine.
Kale's crest flattened. Yield.
Cheers exploded. Feeds amplified. Empire-wide. Ethan exhaled. Systems solved. But Dreadnought still closed. His pad pinged. Fleet signatures fracturing. Loyal captains defected. Shun's confession viral. Saeli sheathed her blade. Turned to him. Lips soft-scaled. Brushed his. My human. Worth redefined. Heat surged. Nobles stared, shocked. Alien princess claimed soft skin publicly. Rovan grinned. Fleet scatters, interceptors inbound. But Ethan's scan caught a rogue signal. One dreadnought broke formation. Kale's loyalists, bearing straight for the throne world core. Deeper rot, he muttered. Saili's grip tightened. We face it. Together. They turned as alarms wailed anew. Human ingenuity, alien fire against Armada remnants, romance sealed in victory's blaze. Chancellor Drun Kale slammed his data slate on the dais rail. Princess Saili Vera stands accused of forbidden interspecies coupling with this, soft skin. His crest flared crimson, eyes locked on Ethan in the witness circle. Nobles hissed. Feeds hummed, broadcasting empire-wide. Ethan stood rigid beside Saeli. Her scaled hand brushed his, subtle pressure. He scanned the chamber, holographic logs flickering, guards tense, goal, survive this farce. Her infertility claim was the bait, this coupling charge the trap. Kale paced, voice oily, the law is clear. Title stripped by council vote. No heir from tainted union. Succession passes to purer blood.
Murmurs swelled.
Captain Rovan Kess gripped his blade hilt, eyes darting between Kale and Saili. Matron physician Iri Shun sat prim in her alcove, lab insignia gleaming. Saili's crest pulsed steady blue. She stepped forward. Chancellor, you invoke ancient prejudice. I invoke the challenge clause. Debate open. I name my advocate.
Ethan Cole.
Kale froze. A soft skin? He lacked standing. Law says any bound consort may speak. Saeli's tail flicked. Silence accepts.
Ethan's pulse spiked.
No prep, no brief. But systems were systems. He nodded once. Accepted. Kale sneered. Proceed, human. Entertain us. Ethan tapped his wrist pad. Palace net access granted via Saeli's override. His first demand. Holologs bloomed midair. Lab entries, timestamps, start with facts. Shun's lab tested Sci-Fi 3 cycles ago. Result, infertile.
Shun shifted.
Nobles leaned in. Access logs tell more.
Ethan swiped.
Threads unraveled. Shun logged in at cycle 47-2. Standard fertility scan. But cycle 47-4?
Unlogged edit. Metadata flags Chancellor Kale's proxy code.
Kale's crest twitched. Fabrication. Ethan pulled transaction webs. Not fabrication. Payment streams from your estate vault to Shun's private account. 2.7 million creds. Routed through shadow nodes. Time to the edit. Hollow charts spun. Timelines synced. Arrows piercing Kale's alibis. Nobles whispered. Rovan's jaw tightened. Conspiracy to falsify infertility. Ethan continued. Bind Sci-Fi to me. A human, infertile match. Disgrace her claim. Strip title in one vote. Sci-Fi's eyes gleamed. Her hand squeezed his arm. Warm scales against skin.
Kale snarled. Lies from a soft-skinned pet.
Guards detain the human. Rovan stepped forward, blade half-drawn. No order stands without crown verification. Guards hesitated. Kalal barked again. Captain Kess, obey. Rovan met Ethan's gaze. A nod, flicker of trust. Evidence viral on feeds. Shun confessed under audit an hour passed. He turned to Kyle. You're done, Chancellor. Chaos erupted. Noble surged.
Ethan grabbed Sci-Fi's wrist.
Dies. Rovan waved them through. His squad formed wedge, blades out. They shoved toward Trone dais. Kale shouted from behind, voice cracking. Treason. Sci-Fi mounted steps first. Ethan followed. Pad clutched. Hollow logs trailed him like ghosts. Throne loomed crystal-veined obsidian, pulsing with core power. Rovan hauled Kale up last, slamming him to knees. Council witnessed the rot. Feeds exploded, Empire nets lit with reconstructions. Shun's face broadcast, haggard, admitting bribes. Dreadnought signatures flickered on tactical overlays. Loyalists wavered. You think this ends it? Fleet holds. Sci-Fi drew her ceremonial blade, keen, etched. Challenge accepted by silence. Blades. Court blades were for honor duels, not brawls. Kale fumbled his from sash-polished showpiece, no edge. Sci-Fi circled. Her crest throbbed victory blue.
Ethan edged back, scanning exits. Goal, exposal fully.
But Kale lunged wild, blade whistling. She parried. Clang, echoed. Precise twist nicked his arm. Blood welled dark green.
Kale roared. Soskin taint corrupts us.
He swung again, sloppy arc. Sci-Fi spun low, kicked his knee. Cartilage popped. Kale crumpled. Rovan pinned arms.
Yield. Never.
Kale thrashed. Sci-Fi pressed blade to throat. Scales gleamed under lights. Yield or die. Succession mine.
Kale's crest flattened to gray defeat. Yield.
Cheers thundered. Feeds amplified roar empire-wide.
Ethan exhaled sharp. System solved. Logs, bribes, duel.
But his pad pinged. Tactical net fleet signatures fracturing. Loyal captains defected. Shun's full confession viral now. Sally sheathed blade. Turned to him.
Public eyes burned. She pulled him close, scales to skin.
Lips brushed his soft despite ridges. Heat surged. My human, she murmured. Worth redefined. His hands found her waist, firm muscle under scales. Nobles gaped. Alien princess claimed, soft skin. Open. Rovan grinned, calm buzzing. Fleet scatters. Interceptors inbound. Ethan's scan deepened. Rogue signal spiked. One dreadnought broke formation. Kale's diehards, Vector, Throne World Core. Deeper rot, he said low. Sci-Fi's grip tightened. We face it. Alarms wailed anew. Ethan synced his pad to palace defenses. Alien fire met human code. Dreadnought closed fast, plasma lances charging. Rovan barked orders. Guards scrambled to arcs. Sci-Fi's tail coiled his leg. Anchor. Your scans. Trajectory locks on shield generators. Ethan patched intercepts. Weak point, their nav core. Overloaded from bribes. Signature matches Kale's shadow fleet. She nodded. Crest synced to his pulse. Throb matching beat. Redirect palace arrays. I'll signal loyalists. He routed power. Hologrids bloomed. Dreadnought bloated. Mod sloppy. Human fix. Isolate nodes. Firing pattern predicted. Dodge in 40 seconds. Court nobles rallied, some grabbing stations. Prejudice cracked, competence shown. Dreadnought loomed on main viewer. Lances spat fire. Saili yanked him down. Blast shook dais. Ethan rolled up, recalibrating. Counter now. Rovan's voice cut comms. Captains inbound. Ethan traced rogue command pings. Encrypted burst from Kale's vault. Backup plot. Core breach. Kale laughed from bonds. You delay. Empire burns. Saeli silenced him. Blade hilt to jaw. Fingers flew. Human edge. Pattern recognition, no fancy neural implants. Code cracked. Self-destruct sequence armed. Remote trigger. Her eyes widened. Rare alien shock. Disable. Need physical access. Shuttle bay? Rovan prepped squad. We fly. Ethan grabbed harness. Saili beside. Warrior grace. Shuttle launched into void, dreadnought eclipsing stars. Dogfight erupted. Interceptor swarmed. Ethan hacked enemy fire control. Locks glitched. Saili piloted evasive bursts. Direct breach. Docking tube compromised.
He eyed schematics, then crawl space.
Engineering deck. They punched through hull. Alarms screamed. Kale loyalists fired. Blasters scorched bulkheads. Saeli's blade danced. 2 down.
Ethan stunned third pad, overload pulse.
Crawl space loomed. Acrid vents, heat haze. She led, scales scraping. Tight Saeli squeezed ahead, her armored scales rasping against rusted conduits. Ethan followed, shoulders scraping, sweat stinging his eyes. Acrid fumes clawed his throat. Heat baked his skin.
Core junction ahead, she hissed over comms. 10 meters.
Blaster fire echoed from the main deck. Rovan's squad held the breach.
Ethan checked his wrist scanner. Self-destruct timer at 412. Redlining.
She kicked a grate loose. They tumbled into engineering bay. Sparks flew from overloaded panels. 2 KL loyalists spun, rifles raised. Saeli lunged. Her blade sliced the first's weapon in half. He crumpled, clutching a severed arm. Ethan rolled left, slammed his stun pad into the second's neck.
The alien convulsed. Dropped. Timer?
Saeli snapped, vaulting a console. 347. Ethan patched into the core terminal. Alien code scrolled, layered encryptions, fractal locks. His fingers danced. No neural link needed, just logic trees, pattern breaks. Humans debugged like this daily. Access denied. The system droned. She guarded his flank, blade humming. Faster. He isolated the trigger relay. Rerouted power through auxiliary vents. Bypass engaged. Timer froze at 219. Disabled. He yanked the physical kill switch for good measure. Alarms silenced. Saeli gripped his arm. Her scales cooled against his skin. You see patterns we miss. Every time, shuttle extraction whooshed them back to the palace dais. Cheers erupted from rallied nobles. The dreadnought listed on hollows, captains loyal to the crown swarming it. Kale's plot crumbled in real time. Rovan clamped cuffs tighter on the chancellor. Backup neutralized. What next, princess? Saeli straightened, eyes locking on the assembly. Nobles hushed. Prejudice lingered in their stares, human filth beside royalty. She activated her throne comm. Matron Shuan. Attend the dais. Bring your lab records, all of them. Shun arrived minutes later, flanked by guards.
Her tendrils twitched.
Highness? Saeli projected the retested data. Ethan's protocol from days ago. Controlled samples, double-blinded. Human oversight on chain of custody. Fertility markers glowed green. Optimal, verified. Gasps rippled. Shun paled. Fabricated, controlled retest, Ethan cut in, voice steady. He stood beside Saeli. No bow, no deference. Your lab spiked my samples with inhibitors first time. Traces match Kale's volt chems. Repeatable. Want a demo? Nobles leaned forward.
The Duke snorted. Human parlor tricks.
Ethan nodded to Ravan. Guards wheeled in a portable analyzer, jury-rigged from shuttle parts. He drew a fresh sample from Saeli's offered arm. Right there. Sealed it under holowatch. Ran the scan. Results bloomed. Peaks sharp. Fertility confirmed. He tweaked variables. Simulated contamination. Peaks flatlined. Reverted.
Nobles murmured.
Joint protocol, Ethan said. Human verification plus your neural scans. No single lab controls it. Run it on any claimant. Fair?
Skepticism cracked.
A countess blinked. It works. without implants.
Basics. Ethan shrugged. Sealed chains, blind tests.
Solves problems across species. Sci-Fi's gaze met his, warmth in the alien violet. She turned to the throne. Chancellor Kale sabotaged my markers. Erased my claim to install his puppet. Proof traces to his vaults. Captain Kess, Rovan stepped forward. By Crown authority, Chancellor Droom Kale, you stand accused of treason. He signaled. Palace enforcers dragged Kale Centerdace. The noble snarled, but cuffs hummed active. Kyle spat. Prejudice will prevail. A barren princess and her pet ape. Sci-Fi's blade pressed his throat. My fertility stands. My claim endures. She nodded to Ravanas. Transfer lab oversight. Independent board. No more Shuan faction shadows. Shuan bowed, defeated. As you command. The assembly erupted, outrage from Kale's allies, whispers of scandal, a human consort. Counts who'd grabbed stations during the battle nodded approval. Competence trumped bloodlines. Sci-Fi faced them all. I claim succession rights, full. And I keep Ethan Cole at my side. She laced her clawed fingers through his. Public. Defiant. Ethan's pulse jumped. Her scales meshed perfect with his skin. Court gasped. Taboo shattered. A lord bellowed. Infernal union. He's no noble. He saved the empire, Rovan growled, while you dithered. Sally's voice cut crystal. They shamed me with a human. Now he sets the standard. Test any plot against his protocols. Yield or join Kale. Then applause. Tentative. Building. Alien shock rippled. A human, rewriting, worth. Ethan squeezed her hand. Partnership, not conquest. Her eyes promised more. Private, later. But Kale's whisper carried from bonds. This isn't over. The outer rims stir. Rovan hauled him away. Ethan scanned hollows. Faint pings, rogue fleets. Next fight brewing. Sci-Fi leaned close. Ready for more? He grinned. Always. Her lips brushed his ear. First forbidden touch. Court stared. Empire remade.